Hello everyone, welcome to this video lecture of Irrigation Engineering. This is Sukamal Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department, Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JS Group. In this particular video, we are going to discuss about design of unlined alluvial channels based on Kennedy's silt theory. Now before going into the detailed discussion about design of unlined alluvial channel, we should know what is silting and scoring, because silting and scoring is directly related to the design of unlined alluvial channel. So due to the erosion in basin or watershed area, or you can say the catchment area, the river receives a huge amount of sediment along with the water. Now a portion of this sediment, which is mainly silt, is also received by the canal when the river water flowing into the canal. This sediment, which is mainly silt, is get deposited on the bed and the side of the channel, and this particular phenomena is known as silting. Now there are several disadvantages of silting, but the primary disadvantage of silting is due to silting the section of the channel or canal get reduced, and if the section of canal is reduced, then the discharge capacity of the canal also reduced. Okay, suppose this is a cross section of channel. Okay, this is the top of the channel, this is the bottom of it B, and this is the depth Y of this particular channel. Okay, now the area of this channel is A, which is equal to B into Y plus half of BY square. Okay, if you analyze this particular channel, you will get this kind of expression for the area A. Okay, and we know that discharge Q is equals to AV, means the discharge is a function of area A, right? So now if silting is occurring, so if silting is taking place, suppose this is the amount of sediment which is get deposited on the bed, and we know this is called silting, and due to this silting, what will happen, the depth of the channel will reduce, right? Suppose this is the reduced depth, suppose this is Y dash. Now this Y dash is less than Y. Okay, and since this Y dash is less than Y, so when we now calculate the area will decrease, because area is the function of Y. From this expression you can understand. Okay, and if A decreases, then this Q will also decreases, means the discharge will also decreases, because discharge is the function of area A. So in this way, if silting is taking place in a particular canal, then the section area is reduced, and hence the discharge capacity of the channel is also reduced. Okay, now when water flows in a canal, it may be a natural canal or artificial canal, the flowing water try to erode or scrub the surface of the channel. Okay, now it can be silt or gravel or even large boulders are detached from the bed or the side of the canals. This phenomena is known as scoring. Okay, so basically when the water is flowing into a canal with a higher amount of velocity, it tries to scrub or erode the surface of the canal. This particular phenomena is known as scoring. Okay, now what is the disadvantage of scoring? That is, the scored particle, means the particle that has been eroded by the flowing water, that particle may get deposited somewhere else in the canal section, and due to that local silting will occur. Okay, so this is the main disadvantage of scoring. It means suppose this is a longitudinal section of a canal. Okay, now this is a section of canal which is B. Okay, and this is a section of canal which is C. Now in the section B the velocities may be VB, and in the section of C the velocities may be VC. Now VB is much higher than VC. Okay, so if the velocity of the flowing water will be higher, then what will happen? Due to the higher velocity, the water will try to scrub or erode the surface of the channel. Okay, so in this particular section the velocity of flowing water is very high, so the water which is flowing in the section B will try to, it will try to scrub the surface channel. Okay, and when it will scrub the surface channel, the particle that is scrubbed by the flowing water in the section B will try to flow with the water. Okay, and in this particular section C, where the velocity is very low, so what will happen? The scored particle which was actually eroded in section B will try to get deposited in the section C. Okay, so the silting will occur due to the scoring in the section B. Okay, so this is known as local silting. Okay, so this problem will occur due to the scoring. Okay, now there are some problems associated with unlined alluvial canals, because for rigid boundary canals or lined canals or the canals which are constructed on the hard surface, the problem of scoring is minimum. And since the velocity of flowing water in lined canal, or you can say the canal which is constructed on the hard surface, is very high, the problem of silting doesn't take place. If you remember, in the last video we have discussed that we can keep the velocity of water is very high in the lined canal, and since the velocity of water is very high in the lined canals or the rigid boundary canals, the problem of silting doesn't occur. Okay, you can see, due to the velocity of water is so high, the silting doesn't occurs. Okay, but for the unlined alluvial channels the situation is a bit different. If you keep the velocity of water very high in unlined alluvial canal, then the higher velocity of water will try to score the side and the bed of the canal. Okay, see, if you keep the velocity of water in the canal more, then the water will try to erode the side and the bed of the canal. Means the higher velocity of water will try to scrub or score the side and the bed surface of the canal. Okay, now if you keep the velocity of water is very less, then the problem of silting will occur, right? See here we have discussed that if the velocity of flowing water is less, then the sediment will try to deposit it on the channel bed, right? So if the velocity of water in the canal is less, then the sediment will try to get deposited in the canal bed, means the problem of silting will occur, right? Now if you want to design a canal, then the design should be such a way that the silting and scoring doesn't take place in that particular canal. Then only the channel will function properly. Okay, so if you want to design a channel, then your design should be like that silting and scoring will not take place in that particular channel. Okay, now a channel in which silting and scoring doesn't take place, or you can say silting and scoring need no special attention, this type of channel is known as stable channel or regime channel. Okay, or you can say a channel is in a state of regime if the channel is not prone to silting and scoring. Okay, now if you want to design an unlined alluvial channel, then your design should be for such a velocity that neither the bed or the side score nor the silt get deposited. It means if you want to design a canal, or you can say an unlined alluvial canal, then you should design such a velocity. In that velocity, the silting will not occur, and at the same time the scoring will not take place. Okay, it means suppose we have a channel. Okay, now in this channel, suppose right now the velocity is v1, and let me assume that at v1 velocity the silting and scoring both is taking place. Okay, okay, now if you increase the velocity, then what will happen? Suppose there is the same channel where in v1 velocity silting and scoring both is taking place. Now if you increase the velocity in this particular channel, then what will happen? Then silting will decrease but scoring will increase, right? We assume that v1 is less than v2. Okay, now again if you decrease the velocity of the channel, then what will happen? Suppose this is v3 and this v3 is less than v1. So if you decrease the velocity of the water in the channel, then what will happen? Then right, scoring will decrease but silting will increase. Okay, so if you design a channel which have a velocity of v1, then silting and scoring both will take place. Now if you design a channel in which the velocity is v2, then what will happen? Then silting may get decreased, or you can say silting may get eliminated, but scoring will still be there and the amount of scoring will be higher. Now if you design a channel with the velocity v3, then what will happen? Then scoring will decrease or scoring may get eliminated, but the silting will increase. I am talking about the unlined alluvial channels. Okay, so if you want to design a stable unlined alluvial channel, then you need to design a certain velocity, or you can say you need to design a velocity in such a way in which the silting and scoring will not take place. Okay, so keeping this point in our mind, we will going further into the detailed discussion of design of unlined alluvial canals. Okay, now there are several investigators have worked on the problem of designing a non-silting and non-scoring canal. Okay, in India, the unlined alluvial canals are designed on the basis of Kennedy's theory and Lacey's theory, and this Kennedy's theory and Lacey's theory are popularly known as silt theories. Now these silt theories are hypothetical theories. Okay, basically these theories are based on the experiments and the experience gained on the existing channel. Means the Kennedy and Lacey done some investigations and experiments on some existing channel, and based on their investigations and the experiences, they suggest some equations, okay, with which we can design the channels. Okay, so now let's discuss first the Kennedy's theory. Now R.G. Kennedy, who was an executive engineer of Punjab PWD, carried out an extensive investigation on Upper Bury Doab Canal system. Okay, actually this Upper Bury Doab Canal is in Punjab. Okay, he selected some straight reaches of canal section which had not posed any silting and scoring problem for previous 30 years, okay, and thus considered to be stable. Okay, actually he considered some section of this particular Upper Bury Doab Canal, and he considered those canal as stable canal, or you can say the stable canal section, because in those canal section there was no record of silting and scoring for the past 30 years. Okay, now on the basis of his observation, Kennedy concluded that the silt carried by the flowing water in a canal is kept in suspension solely by the vertical component of the eddies which are generated from the bed. Okay, and these eddies are generated due to the friction between the flowing water and the surface of the channel. Okay, now he also said that some eddies may be generated on the sides of the channel, but Kennedy neglected these eddies which are generated on the side of the slope because he thought that these eddies which are generated on the sides of the slope are horizontal for the greater part, and hence they have very little silt supporting power. Okay, and that is why he concluded that the silt supporting power of a channel is mainly dependent on the eddies which are generated from the bed of the slope. Okay, basically the vertical component of these eddies are try to move the sediment upward, and the weight of the sediments will try to bring it down, and that is why the sediment remain in suspension. Okay, suppose this is a canal section. Okay, now this is a sediment. Okay, now the vertical component of the eddy, suppose this is the vertical component of eddy, that is E, it will try to move the sediment upward, and the weight of the sediment will try to bring it down. Suppose W is the weight of this sediment, so in this way the sediment remains in the suspension. Okay, now so as we discussed that Kennedy concluded that the silt carried by the flowing water in a canal is kept in suspension solely by the vertical component of the eddies which are generated from the bed of the channel, and that is why he has given a relation between the velocity and the depth of the channel. Okay, Kennedy introduced the term critical velocity. Okay, and according to Kennedy, at critical velocity, which is denoted by V0, the channel will free from silting and scoring. It means Kennedy said that if you keep the velocity of the channel as V0, means if you maintain the critical velocity in the channel, then the silting and scoring will not take place in the channel. Okay, and he has given the relation between this critical velocity and the depth y. Okay, and this expression is V0 is equal to 0.55 y to the power 0.64. Okay, actually see, as we discussed that this is, suppose this is the channel section. Okay, and in this channel section the eddies are generated in the bed, and those eddies are trying to keep the sediment in suspension, right? and since the sediments are in suspension, the silting and scoring is not taking place. It means, according to Kennedy, in this particular channel there is a velocity which is V naught. Okay, because Kennedy has concluded that if you are maintaining a V naught velocity, means you are maintaining critical velocity, then the silting and scoring will not occur in that particular channel. So suppose in this channel silting and scoring is not occurring, and because we are maintaining that V naught velocity, okay, and the eddies which are trying to keep the sediment in suspension, they are generated at the bed, and from this bed to the top the depth is y, okay, which are the depth of the flow. Okay, so that is why he make a relation between this critical velocity and this this depth of the flow. Okay, so this V naught is the critical velocity in meter per second and y is the depth of the flow in meter. Okay, now here is an important note. This particular equation or this particular expression is not applicable for other channels. This particular expression is only applicable to the Upper Bari-Doab canal system, because this particular expression was derived on the basis of the observation, or you can say the investigation made on the Upper Bari-Doab canal system. Okay, that is why this particular expression is applicable only for those canal which are flowing the silt of same category as Upper Bari-Doab canal. Okay, see, since this equation is derived on the basis of observation made on the Upper Bari-Doab canal system, this particular expression is not applicable for other channels. This particular expression is applicable only for those channels which are flowing the silt of same categories as the Upper Bari-Doab channel. Okay, means if a particular channel is flowing the silt which is same as the Upper Bari-Doab canal, then only we can use this particular expression or equation for that particular channel to design that particular channel. Okay, so realizing this particular problem, Kennedy introduced a factor M which is known as critical velocity ratio. Okay, Kennedy introduced a factor M which is known as critical velocity ratio. Okay, and this critical velocity ratio is depends upon the soil through which a canal is flowing. Okay, so let's discuss about it. So as we discussed that, realizing that problem, that equation, that V naught is equals to 0.55 y to the power 0.64, this particular expression was applicable only for the Upper Bari-Doab canal system or the canal system which are similar to that Upper Bari-Doab canal system. Kennedy gave another expression which is composed of this M, which is known as critical velocity ratio, and as we discussed that this M is depends upon the soil through which canal is flowing. Okay, so this expression is applicable for all type of canal. Okay, now this V naught is, as we discussed, the critical velocity in meter per second. This y is the depth of the flow. M is, as we discussed, the critical velocity ratio, which is depends upon the type of soil in which the canal is flowing, and the value of M is greater than 1 for the sand coarser than the standard. Generally the value is 1 to 1.2, and the value of M is less than 1 for the sand finer than the standard sand. Okay, and the value is generally from 0.7 to 1. Okay, and from this table you may get all the values of the M corresponding to different type of soils. Okay, for silt of river Indus, which is in Pakistan, the value of M is 0.7. for the light sandy silt, which is generally get from the river of northern India, the value of m is 1. For the light sandy silt, the value of m is 1.1. In this way, there are several values for several types of or different type of soil through which the canal is flowing. Okay. Now we will discuss the design procedure of unlined alluvial canal based on Kennedy's theory or using Kennedy's theory. Okay. Now there can be two cases while designing the canals using Kennedy's theory. There can be a situation where you may have given the value of discharge, slope and the critical velocity ratio, and you may have asked to design the channel. Okay. Now there can be another situation where you may have given the value of discharge, width to depth ratio, means B to Y ratio, and the critical velocity ratio, and you may ask to design the channel. Okay. So there may be two situations, and according to the situation or according to the the values or parameters, you need to design the channels using this Kennedy's theory. Okay. So now discuss the first case. Now in case 1, the value of discharge is given, the value of bed slope is given, and the value of CVR, means the critical velocity ratio, is given. So using these three parameters, we need to design the channel based on Kennedy's silt theory. Okay. So if you have these three parameters, then to design the channel based on Kennedy's silt theory, the first step that we should perform, that we need to assume a value of depth, that is y. Okay, it is depth. Okay. Now our second step will be, we need to calculate the value of critical velocity, that is v naught, and we need to determine the critical velocity using this expression, that is v naught is equals to 0.55 into m into y to the power 0.64, which was given by the Kennedy. Okay. Now our third step will be, we need to calculate the area using this equation. Okay. We know discharge Q is equals to A into V. Here A is area and V is velocity. Now from this equation you can have A is equal to Q divided by V. Okay. So this is that equation. So using this equation we need to calculate the area. Okay. Now our step 4 will be, we need to select a cross section for the channel. Okay. We need to assume a cross section for the channel which we have asked to design. Okay. And generally we consider trapezoidal section with a side slope of 1/2 horizontal and 1 vertical. Okay. Actually generally we consider trapezoidal section to design channel which have a side slope of 1/2 horizontal and 1 vertical. Okay. Suppose this is the top and this is the depth y. Okay. And this is the bed width b. Okay. Now our step 5 will be, we need to derive an expression of area from the selected cross section. Okay. So see, here we have select a cross section, that is the trapezoidal section with a side slope of 1/2 horizontal and 1 vertical. So we need to derive an expression of area for this particular cross section. Okay. And if you derive the expression of area for this particular cross section, then you will get this expression. Okay. So for trapezoidal section with side slope of 1/2 horizontal and 1 vertical, you will have this expression for area. But if you consider some other type of cross section, suppose you consider a circular cross section, or suppose if you consider a cross section of rectangle, then you will not get this kind of expression, you will get some kind of another expression. Okay, so you will get this expression if you consider a trapezoidal section with side slope of 1/2 horizontal to 1 vertical. Okay, or you can get this expression, that A is equal to by plus half of y square. Okay, actually this is nothing but, if you simplify this expression, you will have this expression. Okay, now our step 6 will be, we need to equate the derived area expression in step 5 and the area value we have get in step 3. Okay, so see, here we have get an expression for area in step 5, this expression. Okay, and in step 3 we have get this area value using this q by v naught. Okay, so suppose we have get a area maybe 50 meters square, suppose. Okay, let's consider that we have get this value. Okay, so according to step 6 we need to equate this expression and this 50, means we need to equate 50 equal to, okay, so if we equate it, we will get b from this particular equation. Okay, so we need to equate the derived area expression in step 5 and the area value that we have got from step 3. Actually it is to calculate the width b. Okay, so actually we need to perform the step 6 to calculate the b, that is the bottom width of the channel. Okay, now step 7 will be, we need to calculate the weighted perimeter and the hydraulic mean radius. Okay, so if you calculate the weighted perimeter for a trapezoidal section with side slope of 1/2 horizontal to 1 vertical, then we will get this expression. Okay, and in this expression, when you put the value of b and y, you will get the value of weighted perimeter, that is p. Okay, now using this p value, we can calculate the hydraulic mean radius or hydraulic mean depth r. Okay, this hydraulic mean radius is r, or you can also say it hydraulic mean depth. Okay, so in step 7 we need to calculate the weighted perimeter and the hydraulic mean radius. Okay, now in step 8 we need to calculate the actual mean velocity v using the Kutter's equation or the Manning's equation. Okay, actually Kennedy hasn't gave any equation to calculate the actual mean velocity. Okay, instead of that he asked to use the Kutter's equation or Manning's equation to calculate the actual mean velocity v. Okay, so this is the Kutter's equation, this is v, actual mean velocity equals to 23 plus 1 by n plus 0.00155 divided by s. This s is bed slope. Okay, this s is bed slope and this n is rugosity coefficient. Okay, now by 1 plus 23 plus 0.0015 plus s into n divided by root over r whole into root over r into s. Okay, so this is our Kutter's equation and this is Manning's equation. Okay, that v is equals to 1 by n into r to the power 2/3 into s to the power 1 by 2. Okay, now this v is velocity of flow in meters per second, or you can say the actual mean velocity. R is, as we discussed, that hydraulic mean radius or hydraulic mean depth. S is bed slope of the channel and n is rugosity coefficient. Okay, now our last step is we need to compare the actual mean velocity, that is v, and the critical velocity, that is v naught. Okay, and if the v is equals to v naught, means if the actual mean velocity get equals to the critical velocity, then the assumed depth is correct. Okay, see, in the very first step, in the step 1, we have assume a value of y, right? So if the v is equals to v naught, means the actual mean velocity is equals to critical velocity, then the assumed depth is correct. Okay, but if the actual mean velocity and the critical velocity is not equal, then we need to change the depth. Okay, so if the actual mean velocity and the critical velocity is not equal, it means our assumed depth is incorrect. That is why we again need to assume a depth and repeat the whole procedure. Okay, and we need to repeat the whole procedure until the actual mean velocity get equal to the critical velocity. Okay, actually Kennedy suggested that we need to maintain a velocity which is equal to critical velocity, then only we can get a stable channel, means then only we can get a channel in which silting and scoring will not occur. Okay, so we need to find a value of actual mean velocity which will be equal to the value of critical velocity. Okay, so this is all about case 1. Now we will discuss about our case 2. Now in our case 2, we have given the value of Q, that is discharge, the value of bottom width to depth ratio, and the value of CVR, means the critical velocity ratio. Now if we have given these 3 parameters, then the following steps we need to perform to design a channel based on Kennedy's silt theory. Okay, so our first step will be, we need to select the cross section. Okay, we need to select a cross section, or we need to assume a cross section. Okay, now as we discussed in our previous case, that generally we assume the trapezoidal cross section with a side slope of 1/2 horizontal to 1 vertical. Okay, now our second step will be, we need to derive an expression for area from the selected cross section, and if we consider a trapezoidal cross section with a side slope of 1/2 horizontal to 1 vertical, then we will get this expression as we discussed in our previous case also, right? Now our step 3 will be, we need to calculate the y and b, that is y is our depth of the channel and b is the bottom width of the channel. So we need to determine these 2 parameters using this equation. Okay, this Q equals to A into V naught, where V naught is 0.55 into m into y to the power 0.64. Okay, which was given by Kennedy. Okay, now our step 4 will be, we need to calculate the critical velocity V naught. Okay, now after calculating the critical velocity, we need to calculate the weighted perimeter and the hydraulic mean radius. Okay, once we calculate the weighted perimeter, then we can calculate the hydraulic mean radius using this p value or weighted perimeter value. Okay, now in step 6, we need to assume a bed slope S. See, in our case 1, we have assumed the depth of the section, but in this particular case we need to assume the bed slope of the section. Okay, because Kennedy hasn't given any kind of equation to determine the bed slope, that is why we need to assume a bed slope. Okay, now in our step 7, we need to calculate the V, means the actual mean velocity, using the Coulter's equation or Manning's equation, as we discussed in our previous case also. Okay, now our last step will be, we need to compare the V and V naught as we compared in our previous case, right? In our case 1, we had also compared our actual mean velocity and the critical mean velocity, and if the actual mean velocity get equals to the critical velocity, then the assumed slope is correct. But if this actual mean velocity is not equal to the critical velocity, then the assumed slope is not correct. So we need to change the slope and we need to repeat the step 7 and step 8. Okay, it means if the V is not equals to V naught, then we need to repeat the step 6, step 7 and step 8 again until the V will be equals to V naught. Okay, until V is equals to V naught, we need to repeat the step 6, step 7 and step 8. Okay, so this is all about the design of unlined alluvial channel using Kennedy's theory. Now in our next lecture we will solve some numericals. Actually we will design channel, okay, based on Kennedy's theory. Till then, stay safe and stay happy. Thank you.